Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Golf Race Fuels Racing Zone presented by Stone Ridge Specialty Insurance. We're here at the Motorama Custom Car and Motorsports Expo, also streaming live on TrackTune. Time to talk about Buxton Speedway. I'm with Will Marche, the co-owner of Buxton Speedway. What should people expect for the 2026 season?
Oh, we got an action-packed season geared up. Their season openers are on May 2nd. We're going to have Ken Schrader along with the SOS series coming on May 16th. We have some big events lined up, honestly, each month, but overall, people can be excited for the Action Sprint Tour to come back on July 11th. We have big events at the end of the year on October 10th and 11th, our Canadian National Fall Shootout. We have 27 events total, as well as we'll be opening our new go-kart track with 11 races.
So that's an interesting one. You mentioned that's a big name drop. Ken Schrader, of course, famous racing in NASCAR and still racing for decades. So what will that be like, having that star power come join the local guys?
Honestly, it's amazing. Just to even say that he's coming to our track and race, or even just say that I have had a conversation with Ken Schrader, it truly is amazing, and it is so surreal, and it really just makes all this that much more amazing, and really shows us the opportunity that we are in. And but we just really hope that we can continue to grow racing throughout Southern Ontario and just have guys like Ken Schrader come along to Buxton Speedway and just help bring that energy.
Yeah, definitely one of the short tracks here in southwestern Ontario. I myself am not too sure. Where exactly is it located?
So it's just in between London and Windsor. It's about halfway. It's 15 minutes from Chatham.
All right, so a good option there for people in that region and near some of the other big short tracks. So as far as off-track sort of stuff is concerned, entertainment, food, stuff of that nature, what can people expect?
Yes, sir. We got a full organization for the kitchen. Everything's honestly full going this year. We're going to be having a new pizza section adding to Buxton Speedway. We have the junior fan club, as well as we're going to be doing some work with community chat and living. We got a couple of new surprises coming up for the upcoming season. And overall, honestly, we're just really grateful to say that we can work with company organizations like Chatham Living. It's really just a pleasure to be in this situation and continue to grow Buxton Speedway.
Yeah, you mentioned growing the track. I know you part of the group purchasing the track back in 2024 and the rebranding from Southern Ontario Motor Speedway to now Buxton Speedway. So what has that sort of experience been like, getting this track and sort of building your own product over these last couple seasons?
Honestly, that was the biggest thing. Justin, from a racer side of view and not ever really thinking about what needed to go into the track side of things, all of a sudden being the one to have to run and manage the track, it was a night and day difference. There was a lot of learning curves, but honestly, it's been fun. It's one of those things where when we first got the track, I was just so worried about the track surface. I really didn't think too much more of anything else. And now I'm slowly trying to make sure we're actually covering the fan base side. And at the end of the day, it's an entertainment business, and we want to make sure that the youth is growing up racing. And it's just one of those things where we really see the situation we're in, and it's really an honor.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned there about the track surface, and I know that's another interesting thing about dirt racing is there's really a lot that goes into having to have it a certain way. I remember the things about Tony Stewart riding a tractor at Eldora to sort of convert the track. So what has been the biggest challenge sort of taking over that aspect of making sure you have a track that's ready to put on a good show?
Honestly, that was one of the biggest struggles. I came from drainage, doing that for 12 years, so I have a lot of experience working with dirt and overall heavy equipment, but keeping a surface smooth compared to just digging a hole is night and day different. So it was one of those where people thought, I was going to be able to go in there and just absolutely kill it kind of things, racing dirt and digging in dirt, but it was a completely new learning experience, and it took me a long time to learn, and I'm still learning to this day, and I'm sure I will be for years, but thankfully I'm slowly getting more and more comfortable, and each week I believe that we are getting improvements. Obviously, we're always going to have some hiccups and some learning curves, but hopefully as long as we get that kind of science down and being able to actually have that good routine, I believe that we're heading the right direction.
You mentioned some of the special events that we got coming up this year, or that you got coming up this year at Buxton, and I'm sure there will be some different local classes, of course, where people contending for a championship who come out there on a weekly basis. What are the classes that are in action at Buxton?
So our weekly divisions are late models, modifieds, thunderstocks, mini mods, and mini stocks. But we have some great series coming in, like the vintage mods, Great Lake Legends, Great Lake Super Sprints, Southern Ontario Sprints, honestly, many more. We really just tried to bring some new racing to Buxton, as well as overall it's late model nation, so we got to make sure we're growing that and doing the events like the Canadian National Fall Shootout, and really just trying to grow that side of things and make sure everyone it's kind of getting a chance to grow together rather than just focusing on one class or a certain series or things like that.
How would you describe the competition across these different classes?
Honestly, that's one of the biggest things I would say at Buxton is it's a really competitive class no matter what it is. The car counts, obviously, with the mini stocks right now are still growing, but no matter what, I find week in and week out, from the lower car counts to the high car counts, it's great racing, and it's one of those things where even with the mini stocks, it's just good affordable racing to the late models. If you're, somebody who wants that high action power, it's great racing, and it can be competitive from Buxton to overall traveling out Schweigen, Brighton. We all try to work together, and really just, it's awesome to see.
So I guess we'll bring up now one of your drivers here from the track, Lora Authier, who finished 6th in the Thunderstocks last season, also a part-time racer in the Ontario Sportsman Series. We'll just make sure your mic is on. So how would you describe your 2025 season?
There was a lot of progress in our 2025 season. We were on the asphalt the year before, and we wanted to come back, and we had a newer car that we were able to rent for the year from Lora Authier. So a lot of progress was made. We have an all-female pit crew, so we're teaching them week in and week out new things, and whether it's an oil change or it's changing tires or learning about tire stagger. So we had a lot of progress last year, not just in points, but just in general, our whole crew.
So that sounds like a good learning experience. What is the experience like racing at Buxton compared to some of the other tracks you've been to?
Well, I grew up at Buxton, so I'm second-generation racer. My dad raced at South Buxton Speedway. He's been doing it now for over 40 years. So Buxton's pretty well all I knew until I hit the OSS, and then I started traveling the asphalt tracks. This year we're going to try and travel Schweigen, and that's on our bucket list, but it's homegrown, and we like to stay to our local dirt track that's in the backyard. So everything's coming together, I think, with Buxton, and I think it's just going to take time. Nothing's happens overnight. So as the years go on, I think it's been good. We started in 2019, and everything's been progressing since then. So.
Yeah, and so you're in the Thunderstocks, and the interesting thing with a lot of these classes is you see them on the asphalt and you see them on the dirt. So I'm sure that the races look at least a little bit different between the two tracks. So how would you describe racing this specific car on dirt?
I like, I used to race a Monte Carlo, so I've changed over to the Camaro, and it's like a Cadillac compared to the Monte Carlo, I'll be honest with you. I enjoy it. It's the track for the most part has been smooth. I mean, the odd time when we have bad weather, what can you do? You can't predict that, but for the most part, it's a smooth track. It's a nice track to run. There's lots of room. There's nothing too much. It's a good place to go every weekend.
What are your plans for the 2026 season?
We're hoping to get more wins. I used to be about progress and, try to work our way up the scale. Every year, we've made 1 or 2 positions better in our point standings. So now I'm chasing after some wins. We need some heat race wins. We need to start fighting for some top 5 in points and top 5 positions in the features too. We got to start putting our heads together and getting us some wins.
So we're here at Motorama, where it's it feels like the racing season's getting closer. Buxton, one of the exhibitors, and I know you were just over signing autographs with stickers and scuffs at the podcast corner. So as we start to sort of look ahead now to 2026 for both of you, what are you most looking forward to about this season?
Honestly, for me, it's just continuing to grow. It's one of those things where I really wasn't sure how long it was going to take to get comfortable. Each year feels like we're making progress. First year made it feel like we made progress with the track. This year feels like we made progress, kind of seeing what the fans and racer side of it need. This year we're kind of more focusing on our partners, and then overall, obviously, making it all kind of blend together and see just what we need to grow. It just feels good knowing we're getting a little more confident, and each year we're taking more and more experience on.
I'm going to have to say the same thing, just the progress that, we're growing with the track as well. So I think just keep growing together, and I think it'll work out nice.
And racing, another thing, is it's quite a family atmosphere we see a lot of the time, especially for our regulars. If you're in one of those local divisions, you're seeing the same group of people week in and week out. So what is that atmosphere like, the camaraderie? What is it like to be in the pits at Buxton?
Honestly, I would love to speak on that just for the simple fact that my father and I actually almost didn't buy Buxton for that reason. Where we're from London, Ontario, we didn't know if we'd get the support because we're out-of-towners. We didn't know if guys would want to kind of support us the same. And as soon as we show up there, people like Lora, it's been just amazing. Honestly, the support we've received from fan-wise, the racer sides, even when we were going through the roughest learning curves and the track was rough and I know it wasn't fun for these guys, they stuck by us and they knew that, as long as they're going to keep trying and push through, then it'll be worth it. But, and I feel like they seen that and we're seeing that in them and we see that they want it, we want it, and I believe we're going to be able to continue to really push together and grow Buxton Speedway to be one of the best tracks in Ontario.
For you as well, for the camaraderie?
I think Will pretty well said it pretty good there. I don't, you got to, unfortunately, it's not an easy job what Will's doing, and he was put into a place, he just kind of handed and said, here you go, and see how it works out. And I think you're doing a great job. I think, like I said, we're growing together, and I think that it's not easy. It's not an easy road, and it's not easy, and it's a lot of pressure for you. So I'm happy on a weekly basis. I mean, in the pits, it's pretty calm for the most part. I mean, sometimes the girls maybe ruffle a few feathers, but I mean, other than that, that's what we're there for. We're women, right?
So, and I guess as we have about a minute or two left here, where can people follow first for Lora your racing efforts for this season?
So they can find me on Instagram, Facebook, at Dirt Is My Glitter, TikTok. We're always posting on there. We're trying to post any progress we have, sponsorships, partnerships that we have. I go around with Build a Dream every year, talk to thousands of young girls just about what we get to do on a weekly basis and how fun it is and what kind of skill trades that we can even get them to look at, like welding and fabrication, things like that I do on a weekly basis that I didn't think would affect anybody, but apparently it does, and I get to share that with all these young girls throughout the season. I also have Zonta Club from Chatham, Kent. They've come on this year, just empowering these young women and getting them just to see what kind of skill trades and that could come out of the motorsports industry. And then we also have Leaf Racewear. They provide us with great shirts, things like that, fire suit. We also have Build a Dream. We have Brad's Delivery, Trevco. Shafira Safety Apparel, they came on this year. They've dressed me head to toe underneath a fire suit, everything fire retardant. So I'm pleased and happy about that. We're going to go into the year a little bit safer, even more than we were last year.
Yeah, sounds good for sure, and a good deal there, inspiring the next generation of women and promoting diversity in the sport. And finally, for Will, is there anything else people should know, and where can they find out more about Buxton?
Honestly, I personally say you should follow Lora's journey because it's one of those things where I personally want to learn more about her. You can tell she's a great promoter and great marketer. So it's one of those things where I'm just excited, just learning all this little stuff, getting the opportunity to work with the great partners like Motorama. First year, we didn't know what to expect. We were so nervous coming here. This year, I feel a little more confident and things like that where I'm just honestly excited to see where this journey takes us. And it's been amazing just honestly getting to work with you, getting to do these interviews, getting to just meet everybody and overall meet these kind of connections. It's just something that I never really thought would happen in a million years. I was just somebody that was in an excavator sticking to myself, and now here we are.
And I guess website for Buxton?
The website, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram are all just Buxton Speedway.
All right, sounds good. Will Marche, co-owner of Buxton Speedway, Lora Authier, racer at Buxton Speedway. Thank you for speaking with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.